Okay, see this. If we don't have permission, the EC2-user don't have permissions to this folder. So that's why it got permission denied. So to this folder, and we tried, we got permission denied. But as a root user, we got here, right? So what is that? Okay, let me exit. So I want to go back to my normal, I change it to root user, right? I want to go back to EC2-user. Exit if you type, it will show EC2-user. If you type once again exit, it will close the terminal. It will close this terminal automatically. I don't want to exit again. Right now, see here, there are three types of permission, three sets of permissions. First one is owner. Owner. Who is the owner of this file? Let's take this file. Who is the owner of this file? EC2-user. So whenever EC2-user logins and tries to access this file, whenever EC2-user logins and tries to access this file, the first set indicates owner right here, owner. EC2-user is the owner of the file, right? Whenever EC2-user try to access this file, that user will have only read and write permissions on that. That user will not have execute permissions. Go on mute. Okay. Okay. That user will have only read and write permissions. Okay. What is that read, write, execute? I'll explain sometime. But that owner will have only read and write. Execute permissions will not have. Minus means execute is not there. Read, write, execute. Here it is not there. But the same user tries to access this directory. Try to access this directory. What will happen? Who is the owner of that is EC2-user. So when the owner tries to access this directory, the owner will have read, write, and execute. Read, write, and execute. All the permissions will. Understood, guys? Clear? Okay, fine. Next, so you understood that, right? The second set, first indicates owner. Who is the owner? Second set indicates group owner permissions or groups permissions. What is that is? For example, owner can do these actions, read, write actions. Groups means this is a group name. This is a group name actually. So same, compare with WhatsApp group. So now a group of people wants some discussion. What you will do? Instead of pinging them separately individually, what you'll do is you'll create a group. You'll create a group. So you add few users, like 10 users to that group, right? So you can all discuss something that within the chat. One thing will be visible to others, right? It's the same. One post, one message by one person will be visible to all others, right? Same like that. Here we can create a group. We can create a group. The group name is also EC2-user. EC2-user. I'll add 10 users to that group. Okay, 10 users to that group. Now, what is a group owner? We call as group owner, right? The group owner of this file is EC2-user. So when, sir, we didn't created this group name, how it got? By default, it will come. I'll explain that. When it will come on, I'll explain. So by default, it has came, there is one group called as EC2-user. Okay, with the same username, a group has been created. Okay. Now, for an owner, I want to give read, write, execute permission. So here I'll give for this owner, whenever EC2-user logins, that user should get read, write, execute permissions. Okay, I'll give that read, write, execute permissions. Here also I'll make it as X, read, write, execute permissions. But the other 10 users who are part of this group, they should get only read, write, execute permission. They should not get. So for 10 users, I want to give read, write permissions. For owner, I want to give read, write, execute. Okay, here I'll give read, write, execute. For 10 users, I want to give only read and write. I should not give execute permissions for 10 users. 10 users individually I cannot give. What I'll do is I'll add all those 10 users to this group. For example, there are users called A, B, C, D, like that, right? All A, B, C, D users I'll add to this group. How to add that and all we'll see later. Okay, that is not the concept now. This is a permission. So we'll just discuss about the permission. So I'll add all 10 users to this group and I'll give this. These are nothing but group permissions. Means these are the permissions to this group we are giving. we are giving read-write permissions, only read-write, execute we are not giving to this group. So the users who are part of this group tries to access this file, they'll get only read-write permissions, not execute permissions. Clear? So no, guys?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Next, in Linux, there may be plenty of users, not only this 10 users and owner. So now owner tries to access, for example, if I'm giving read write execute here, owner will get read write execute, others will get read write, right? For group users, I'll give read write. Okay, they'll get this permissions. The other users who is not a owner, who is not part of this group, right? Linux will have any number of users. The user who is not a owner and who is not part of this group. If that user comes and tries to access this file, they should get only read permissions I'm giving. If I don't want to allow them, all minus here you can give, means they'll not even get read access, write access, or execute access. Like this we can restrict. So owner, right? Owner permissions, group owner permissions, and others. Others are called as what? Who is not a owner of that file and who is not part of group. Those are called as others. Okay, group means who are part of this group. This file is, the file owner is this one, and it is owned by a group called as this. And the users who are part of this group can access these permissions. Understood, guys?
Sir, I have a question here.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, is every owner is part of that group? Now we have a conflict here because we are seeing.
No, wait it. I'll explain that in the group. That is what I said. Groups, I'll explain when I discuss about groups. Okay. So don't get confused. If you jump there and here, you'll not understand. Wait,
No, sir, like, my question was like, is EC2 the first owner is also part of that group?
Yes. That is what I'm saying. Yes, I'll discuss about groups. At that time, I'll explain. I'm saying. Okay. I don't want to jump. That is a groups concept. There I'll explain it. By default, this EC2 user will be part of this. Yes, that is correct. But I'll discuss in the groups I'm saying. Okay. Fine. Because if you jump there and here, I'll forget some point. What I was discussing. Sorry.
I have one doubt here.
Yeah, yes.
The one who creates the directory is like by default he will get write and read execution permissions.
Wait, madam, that also I'm not yet done. I'm explaining. Wait, I'll explain that. Okay. Both are very what anxiety. I think you want to learn fast. Okay, now I'll explain that. Your question, right? The answer now I'm going to explain. For that, you must one concept is there. I'll explain. So now let me explain this permission basics. Then we'll discuss about that points. So now owner, right? How that owner is getting permissions is these are the default permissions. These are the default permissions. How the default permissions are coming, right? See, I created a folder. I created a directory, right? I never gave permissions to this. Okay, I never, for Lavanya question, this is the answer. So I never gave permissions here. By default, these permissions gave. But when I created a file, I never gave permissions to this. This got default permissions. How they got, right? So that is a topic. That's what I'm saying. You hold on. I'll explain one by one. These are the default permissions, how they got. So before that, we need to discuss some basic. Let's discuss the basic and then go to that level. So first, how these permissions are coming. 3 sets. Do you know that 8421 binary code in academics?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 8421. So here we have only 3. We doesn't need 8. We don't need 8. So if I want to give 6, what should I give here, guys? As per the binary code, right? 1 1 0 means 6. Yes or no, guys? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
6 means what? 1 1 0 means 4 plus 2 equal to 6. If I want to give 7, everywhere 1 1 1 7. If I want to give only 4, right? 0 0. If I want to give 3, how?
1 double
1
0 1 1.
If I want to give 0 1
0, 1,
It
1.
indicates 3.
0, 1,
Okay.
1.
Okay, 3. Right. So let's use the same format. Now I want to give full permissions. For owner, I want to give full permissions. Read, write, execute permissions. 4, 2, 1. So for owner, if I want to give permissions, full permissions, how should I give?
1, 1, 1.
So the total, 1, 1, 1. That total we call it as 7. 7 I give. Okay. For groups, I want to give only read, write permissions. What should I give?
6.
6. For others, I want to give only read permissions. Then
4.
I want to give for others read and execute. Then
5.
others 5. Right? Like this, you have to calculate and get. So how to give permissions? Just a minute, we'll discuss. Okay. So now have you understood how these permissions are calculated? So the maximum permissions we can give here is 7, 7, 7. Okay. Okay. You remember that. So that is how they have given here also. Achieved that. But let me explain what is read, write, execute here. Read means opening a file or printing this file. I want to print this file, cat. Okay, you got this. If you connect in Linux instance, after 1 minute, if you don't use it for a minute, it will get disconnect. You just need to connect back again. Okay. Now, I have this file. I want to print it. I want to print it. Do I have read permissions to print that? I logged in as a EC2 user. EC2 is the owner of this file. Let's take out header.txt because it has some content, right? The owner of that file is EC2 user. Yes, I logged in as a EC2 user. That owner has read, write, execute permissions. So read means what? Can I cat that file? Yes, I can cat it. Can I open that file? Yes, I can open that file. All right. Open that file. Next, write also I have. Means write means what? Read means what? Just printing. Wait. Write means read means printing that file or opening that file. Now write means opening that file, right? So without read, can I have write?
No.
No, remember that without read we cannot. If you can't read that file, how can you edit it, right? So I can read that file, edit it. Write means what? Edit, modify that file, and delete also. Delete also comes under write only. Understood, guys? You can delete that file also. Delete also comes under write only. That is thing. Next. So have you understood read, write? What is read and write? Read means opening that file. See, sometimes if you try to open, we will get this error plenty of times. Right? You cannot open the file. You cannot open the file. You are opening a file which you don't have permissions like that. We'll see going forward. So why? Because we don't have write permissions. You have read permissions. You have only read permission, no write permissions. So when you open with VI, it will open it. When you try to edit it, it will allow. But when you try to save it, it will throw error. Hey, you cannot modify this file. You don't have write permissions like that. It will throw error because you have only read only permissions. You have read only permission. Write is not there. Okay. So such errors we'll see. Plenty of errors we'll see. So you remember this error. Don't ask me again. Okay. Keep it in mind somewhere at the corner of your mind. Whenever you read that error, it will say you are unable to edit the file because of you don't have write permission, something like that. It will give. Okay. Next. Okay. So read, execute. Read means what? Opening a file or printing it, right? Write means editing it, saving it, deleting it. Execute means you don't understand this now, but in shell script, I'll show you this. Execute means I want to allow this file to run as a shell script or participate in a shell script as a programming. Execute. I want to execute this as a script. I want to execute this file as a script. You don't know this. What is this execution script and all? You will learn in shell scripting. For now, you remember X means execute permissions. Execute permissions. If this file wants to include in any programmatic access, shell script as a program or in the program, I want to access this file, right? Then that file need to have execute permissions. If the file don't have execute permissions, then you cannot run it in a shell script. You cannot execute in the shell script. So I will log in as a EC2 user. I'll run it as a shell script file. I'll run it as a shell script. For example, hello, I want to run it as a shell script file. You logged in as a root user. Root user don't have execute permission, so you cannot access it. You cannot access it. Clear, guys? Understood? Yes or no? Read, write, execute. Have you understood?
Sir, can you just repeat the execute part?
If you don't understand it, leave it. I'll explain in shell scripting. But for now, remember X means execute. Through a program, there is something called as scripting, shell scripting. Now you are printing this at hello. I want to use a script, some program I want to write to access this file, or else in this file only I want to write some scripting, shell scripting program I want to write, some script I want to write. If you want to execute this as a script, you need to have execute permissions on this. If the file don't have execute permissions, right? For owner, if I log in as an owner, and if I have execute permissions, then only I can run it as a shell script. Else I cannot run it as a shell script file. Execute, X means execute. If that script, the file want to participate in shell script execution, they need to have execute permission. If there is no execute permission, X permission, it cannot execute. If you don't know this, leave it. If you can't understand this, I'll explain it in shell scripting. Okay. Okay, fine. Next. Less minus. Okay. Now I want to change the permissions. I want to change the permissions of this user. How to change it? Okay. How to change it? Yes, there is something called as one command is there. I'll discuss about that command. But before that, first let's complete that ls. Why I jumped from ls to with permission? Because I need to explain all the 7 sections. One is name, timestamp, memory, group owner, you owner, links, and permissions. Okay, this links and this I'll discuss. Groups, right? Groups, there is a separate concept at the time of the groups. I'll discuss for Anup question, right? The exact, not only he made one statement, but like that there are so many points need to be discussed there. So everything I'll discuss when I discuss about groups. Okay, fine. Now first let me complete ls, then we'll go to other topics, permissions topics, how to change the permissions, right? How to give remove permissions, add permissions, that and all we'll discuss. First let me explain about this. Now how we got these default permissions, everything we'll discuss about permissions. Now first ls, right? So ls command we were discussing, what I discussed, just ls, right? So there will be seen now ls minus l I type. Okay, fine. But when I type ls minus l, ls means what? What ls means?
List.
What, Rajeshwari?
List.
What is?
List.
Not list, list. Okay, list. Minus l means what, Rajeshwari? You are very silent. Huh? What is minus l? Others?
Long
Hidden
list.
files.
Long.
So it's showing hidden files.
I didn't ask about that hidden files. I just asked about L. Will you, with L, can you list hidden files, man?
Long list.
Long. L means long. Hidden files minus L is not related to hidden files. Okay. What is means? A means all. All. So ls means list. Minus L means long. A means all. Okay. Now if I type L, A. Now you observe here when I just type minus L, these are the files 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are there. Now we observe along with that 8, there are so many things, some which are, forget about this. Let us you see this .ssh, .vam, .bash underscore history, these and all we are seeing, right? These are nothing but hidden files. Do you remember in Windows also, we can keep some files as hidden files. We can hide them. Right. So later, if you want, if you remove that hidden files option, then it will display the hidden files. Right. In Linux, blindly remember this. Don't ask me this again. Write it down. Okay. Somewhere. Or else you remember it. In Linux, hidden files starts with dot. See, hello.txt. This is not starting with the dot. This is not starting with dot. Hello name is there .txt. But here, if you observe, it is starting with the dot only. Dot bash underscore history dot name is not there, the extension is there. So actually this is the name only, but it is starting with It is starting with dot. Okay, it's starting with dot. So right, these are called as hidden files. Hidden files. If you want to list the hidden files, then you have to use A option you have to use. Either you can use as a combination ls minus la or separately ls minus l minus a, like this also you can use, up to you. The options are given. This is a command. For a commands in Linux, for any command, whenever you are passing arguments, you can pass the arguments separately like this, -l, -a, like that, or else ls minus la you can pass. ls minus
Sir,
la.
what is the 28 we are seeing in the as a total?
Sorry.
Total we are seeing just below ls minus la. We
Here.
are seeing total 28.
Yeah, this is memory.
File total.
So
No,
this
total 28. Above
this
that.
is
Total.
wait. Here, this total. This
Yes,
directory, the total memory it is saying. Here is there, right? The combination is there, right? So it is calculated and showed the total 28. This you don't think about. This is lower size. What is that? Yeah, that memory I'm not remembering.
KB, sir.
KBs. This is the combination, multiple of that. Okay. Ls minus L H. So H it is showing 28 KB. This is 28 KB. This is KB only. See, this is 1.1 KB. This is 1.1 KB. This is lesser than that. What is lesser than KB? Bytes. 35 bytes.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
bytes.
This is 35 bytes, 6 bytes, 16 bytes. That bytes I was not remembering. So these are bytes. Okay. So when we combine all these bytes, this is 6.4 KB. So everything, if we combine, it is 28 KB. Okay. Understood? The total memory it is showing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Something LA, right? Okay, LA, right? So these are hidden files. Whenever you want, this is an interview question. Whenever you want to see the hidden files and all, A option you have to pass. A will list all the files, including hidden files. Next, ls. Next, I want to list only hidden files. Just means LA. If you give without long list, it will list all the files. Okay, all files. Ls, L if you use long, complete information. You understood, right? Ls, only this much information you give. L, if it will give this information. Only A, this will give this information. If you give LA, okay, you can use AL also. It is any combination. So if you give this long list, complete information, including hidden files, it is going to give. The combination you can use, okay, based on your requirement. Now, I want to list only the files which has .txt as the extension. So how to list? Star .txt. So what does this mean? Star means anything. Star means anything. So I want to list the files which has any name, but only the rule is the extension should be .txt. See, you observe here, it is printing the files which has the extension as .txt. Understood, guys? It is not listing everything. It is listing only the files which has dot extension. Now, I'll give like this. H star. What does this mean?
Starting with H and further we may have anything.
Anything. So it will list all the files and directories which starts with a letter called H. After that, anything. See, we have hello.txt, hi.txt. All are three are starting with H. Only it listed this. For example, if I give A star, what it is listing? So the directory which is starting with is A, A1, AA. What is this is? Inside A1, there is one more folder called as B1. It is listing like that also. But you remember A, A1, AA. Here it is listing. Inside this A1, B1 is there. It is listing that vigorously. You understood this, guys? Okay. Next, I want to list. See, you observe here ls minus L. Okay. You observe here, it is listing which the file which is created at 3rd, 3, 29, after 30, 33, 31, 24. Is there any order, sorting order? It is created 333. It is created 30, 29. It is 31. There is no order. It is randomly printing. Yes or no? Yes. First directory, next files randomly. LT if you give, it is going to list based on a order based on a timestamp. Based on timestamp, it is listing. So you observe here. See, the latest one will come on top. The latest one, it is created on 6th, 327. It is created on 6th only, but 251, which is little older. This is little older. This is little older. So 6th 3 like this, right? Whatever the files which are created latest, that will come on top. LT, list based on timestamp, based on time. List, long list based on time. T means time. Understood? The latest created one will come on top. Clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Next, for the same thing, you can use LTR. Long list based on time, reverse order. Reverse time. T means T, R means reverse order. See, the latest created is coming at the bottom now. The latest created is coming at the bottom now. Understood? Yes or no, guys? Have you understood? Okay. Now I want to list the files and folders which has only one letter. The name has only one letter. LS question mark. Single question mark. See, there is one directory with the name single letter, right? A and B is there. See. So these are the files inside A. This is abc.txt is there. hi.txt is inside B directory. It is recursively printing. But remember, question mark means it will print only the directories which has the name contains single letter. Now, if you give 2 question marks, what does this mean? 2 question marks.
2 letters.
Yeah, 2 letters. The name, the directory name contains 2 letters. Sorry, this one. A1, AA, BB. A1, B1. B1 is inside this A1. AA, which is empty directory. BB, empty directory. Understood, guys? Clear? Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So next, there are so many options, right? In this, if you want to know help about this LS, what are all the options available for LS? LS minus help you have to type. LS command, any command. If you don't know that command, how to use that, what is the meaning of command, what options are available, or parameters, arguments available for that command, if you don't know, LS, the command, and hyphen help you type, right? Enter, it will give that help. So if you see here, I typed this LS minus help, it will give help of the command it is saying. So this command usage LS, right? First, it is saying list information about the files, the current directory by default. So in the current directory, it will list the information about the files. Sort entries, something it is given, right? Hyphen A means all. Do not ignore entries starting with, means it will not ignore this also. It will give everything. All right. Next, we discuss. These are everything is not important for us. Next, hyphen D, list only directories. Directories themselves, not their contents, right? Only directories. Next, hyphen H means human readable format. See, if I type less, no, I'll discuss. Just let me explain this and then I'll discuss about hyphen H. See, recursive, right? Reverse. Hyphen R means reverse. Capital R means recursive. Recursive I'll explain in some time. Hyphen T based on time. Like this, right? So now you observe here, LS minus L I'm typing. Normally, see, it is total 4. It is 4 MB or 4 KB or 4 GB, you don't know. Human readable format. H, if you type human readable format, it will give 4.0 K, which means KBs, kilobytes. Okay. Next, recursive, right? For example, guys, if I type LS, what it will do? It will list the files and directories present inside this current directory. Yes or no? My current directory is this one. Inside this folder, what are all the files and directories present? It will list this. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, if I type LS and give this directory, for example, I'm giving this directory name. See, I'm not giving any stars before or after that. Just I'm giving directory. So what it will do now, you know, what are all the files and directories present inside this A directory that it will list. See, inside A, we have abc.txt and hi.txt. It is printing that. Understood? I give A1, what and all present inside A1, B, like this it will give. Understood?
Yes.
Now what I'll do is I'll go to A1, CD A1, I'm going to A1. But here I'll create one file, touch test.txt. Okay. Next, inside this, we have B1, CD, B1. Here we don't C1. Okay, here I'll create a touch, .txt, something like this. So let me go one level up, dot CD, 2 levels up, right? Dot slash dot. Okay, now I'm here. This directory is B1. Okay. Now, I want to print what and all present inside A1. Less A1. If I give like this, it will print. Okay. But in A1 has B1, B1 has C1, like that recursively, everything inside ls, right? What and all present, everything I want to know, subdirectories, everything I want to know. What you have to do is you have to use capital R here, recursively. List A1 recursively means directories and files present in A1. If there are any subdirectories, what present inside that subdirectories, everything it has to list. See, A1 is there, right? A1 contains B1 and tested.txt. So the next again inside this B1, A1 slash B1, right? Inside this A1, there is one more directory called B1. That B1 contains C1 and hi.txt. Next, inside A1, there is one more directory called B1. Inside that C1, the C1, right? It don't have any files. It's an empty directory. Like that, recursively it will print, right? Directories inside that subdirectories. Inside that subdirectories, if there are any subdirectories and files, till the last level, everything it will list here. Understood, guys? Clear?
Yes, sir.
So now if I give directly just ls minus r, what will happen? Tell me.
It lists everything, every directory inside every directory.
But from where?
From the present directory.
Yeah, from current directory. So current directory, under current directory, we have A1, this and all we have. Inside A, these two are there. Inside A1, dot means current directory. Under current directory, there is one folder called directory called A. In the current directory, there is one more directory called A1, which has this. Inside this A1, this, like this, it will print everything. Understood? Clear? Is it clear about ls? Understood, guys?
Yes.
The last topic about ls I'll discuss. After that, we'll go ls minus f. Ls minus lf. Let me put. Okay, f also enough. See this. See, now you type ls. When I type ls, you observe directory names are there. But when I type minus f, if you observe, there is some slash here, a slash something, but files it is not there. Understood? Have you observed this?
Yes.
So what is this? F means that will indicate type. That will indicate type. So at the end, whenever you type ls minus f, right, it will list the directories which is executable files based on some symbols. No need to remember this. So just indicate this indicates directory. This other way of finding the file type. I want to know whether it is a file, which file type, directory, folder, or executable, something, right? You will type ls minus lf, so it will list those, but at the end it will append something. It indicates this, and this indicates directory. Nothing means file. Executable means some folder, some star or something like that. It will be there. So just remember this. In the interviews, they'll ask how to find that file type, something, right? So you can use ls minus l. Just see that first directory or nothing, or else ls minus lf if you type based on the symbols also it will categorize. Okay, here I have slow slash indicates directory, star indicates executable, @ indicates soft link. Okay, here if it shows slash means directory, star means executable file, @ is there means here instead of hash is forward slash @ is there means it is soft link. What is that soft link? Don't worry, we'll discuss. Okay, next like this. B star, question mark, this and all I'll explain, right? This step you don't know, we'll discuss later. So have you understood this, guys? ls. So no, the starting location I said, right? ls minus l. Okay, so D means directory, nothing means file. So for that, here is the explanation. Minus is there means normal file, D means directory, L means soft link. Like this, we can categorize, but for us, these three is important. Right? So far we know minus means hyphen means regular file, normal file. D means directory. L means soft link. Soft link we'll see later. Okay, and the clear command, you know, right? It is this. So I switched from sudo minus, I switched to root user. I want to go back, right? I changed from EC-user to root user. I want to go back to normal, again, EC2 user. go back from root to EC-user. What is the command?
Exit.
Exit. Once again, if I type exit, what will happen? It will close the terminal. Okay, it will close the terminal. Okay. So Linux commands are easy. Okay, Linux commands are easy. You don't need to worry. Next, chmod. This I'll discuss tomorrow, guys. Okay, just let me explain this chmod. I'll discuss tomorrow. We'll continue tomorrow. This I want to change the permissions. Change the permissions. Right? Chmod is the command. Tomorrow I'll discuss how these default permissions came. How these permissions came. How the default permissions will come when you create a file or folder as a normal user. When you create as a root user. Right? This is too much important class tomorrow. Okay. Umask value, something called as umask value, and how to change the permissions. Chmod is the command to change the permissions. Chmod. See here, this B directory has right this permissions, right? So 7 ReadWrite X 7 7. What is this? 5. Yes or no? This is 5, right?
Yes, sir.
Chmod 777 B I'm giving. Okay, it's there. ls minus l. See, what was the permissions of this B directory? 775. Right? Now you observe this. 777. Change it to 777. Means ReadWrite execute, ReadWrite execute, ReadWrite execute. Here, right was not there. Got understood, guys? How to change the permissions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I want to change the permissions of this directory, who is changing the permissions of this directory? What is the user we are using to change the permissions of this directory? EC2-user. So EC2-user. Who is the how this EC2-user related to this directory? As a owner. Owner should have right permission. Means that EC2-user should have right permission to change the permissions. Right means what? Modifying, deleting, changing the permissions, everything. Okay. So that's it. I'm stopping here. We'll connect tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Do you have any questions, guys?
Just to add a point, yes,